Hello, 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 everyone. This is Coach Powell. Welcome to Coffee, Tea, You and Me. Yes, I am again coming to you live from my wonderful home here in Fort Washington, Maryland. My father's home. I'm actually helping him move today, which is why I'm dressed this way and why I'm sitting in my car. But I want to make sure we deliver great programs to you, and we're very, very careful about how we choose our Friday afternoon sessions, right? So we are now in the midst of the final three courses in a 9-part series. And if you guys have been paying attention to what we've been talking about so far in terms of establishing and creating highly powerful relationships and professional relationships, you know that that's what we're all about. We're creating those opportunities and helping you create those opportunities. We work for small businesses all over the world. Any small women-owned, minority-owned businesses, we are all about it. We try to make sure that you have all the tools, all the success, and everything you need to be comfortable and good at everything that you do, specifically when it comes to developing your professional relationships. That's what the show is all about. That's what we're all dedicated. I got to make sure that I pay attention and give some credence and shout out to the organizations that make this possible. And the first organization I want to mention to you is the Theta Tau Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. My brothers and I, we spend a lot of time doing work in the communities and supporting small business. I happen to be the Bigger and Better Business chairperson, and we're always looking for businesses to promote that are in Northern Virginia. If you are in Fairfax County or Arlington County in Northern Virginia, we're looking for opportunities to promote business. In fact, we're promoting right now a wonderful business that we've adopted called Angel Tech. And Angel Tech is all about a private security application that you can download from your phone. If you want to, let me see if I can't go ahead and put it up on. Look at that. Yes, I can. That's Angel Tech, guys. If you are interested in downloading the app to make sure your families are secure, you can literally download this app, and it will make sure you will be able to um, share your resources and everything you need to share in any time of a case of emergency for any of your family members who are off and about. You can also help them understand how to be visible, even in places where it might be suspect or might be problems. This is particularly important, especially for the minority communities, when you're driving in places and you're going through places, or you're sitting down to eat at restaurants and places where you might not be comfortable. You want to make sure that you have that Angel Tech downloaded on your phone, because that's going to allow your parents and your friends and your associates and your family members, your loved ones, to track where you are, and for you to update them on where you are, what you're all about, and where you're going. Specifically, if you're having like a foreign national or you're traveling abroad, you're going to want to have Angel Tech on your phone. And so check that out. Angel Live is right there in the chat. You guys can go ahead and get that. I want to make sure you're available with that. But that's a sponsorship from the Brothers of Theta Tau Sigma chapter here in Northern Virginia. And we're sponsoring this. This is a small business that's local that we're sponsoring. If you have an idea about some small businesses that we should be thinking about, definitely hook me up. My information is scrolling across the screen right now. Again, my name is Marvin Coach Powell. The second sponsor that I want to talk to you about is the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a brilliant organization that my partner Darren Marcourt and I started years ago, and it really was dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and business leaders learn how to use advanced networking tactics to recruit, to find, to identify their inner circle, to find those people that they need to be connected to and need to be connected to well, so that there's a high level of trust. That is an important thing to have for any entrepreneur, any small business. I don't care if you're in a gig economy. I don't care if you're a corporate leader. You need to have your inner circle. We call it your advisory council, call it your hero council. I've got some special training I put together about the hero council strategies and development. That's all available for people anybody you ask me for it, I'll give it to you. But these are all groups that are all about, again, developing professional relationships, helping you get there, helping you accomplish your safety and security. And so thank you to the Brothers of Theta Tau Sigma chapter, and thank you to the Roundtable for making this show and shows like it possible. You're going to be hearing about a lot of stuff I'm going to be doing later on in the future, but I just want to give that a shout out right now. For those of you who are watching the show, you're watching the show for the first time, listen, do me a favor, put your information in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, how you found us, where you're coming from. Anytime, whatever our unique connection might be. If you're a person that's watching from YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter. Make sure you put your information in the chat. This is a business-friendly show. I'm going to remind you, this is a business-friendly show. If you have things that you want to share, go ahead and share that stuff in the chat. And if you have a comment, a shout out, you want to say amen, hallelujah, whatever you want, put it in the chat. I want the chat blowing up. I want to make sure that we're connected to as many people as we possibly can and that we're engaging, right? This is super, super important. Now, today's topic, I got to tell you, is super special. Today's topic is all about creating high performance teams. But before you can create high performance teams, there's a couple things that you have to be aware of. And it's your mindset, right? You have to have the mindset of inviting and recruiting. You have to have the mindset of inviting and recruiting. Now, if you follow the 6 steps that we've talked to you before, you can go back and watch those on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook anytime you want to. They're on demand right now. If you follow the 6 strategies we've already given you, then you're already experiencing the benefits of an inviting and a recruitment mindset. But let me share with you what those benefits are. Benefit number 1, when you have an inviting and a recruiting mindset, you're going to be able to embrace a global ideology. You'll be able to look forward and reach out to people all over the world because you'll be more open and you'll be more flexible and you'll be more genuine. So what's going to happen as a result of you making that shift of your mind, right? You're going to be able to embrace others. You're going to be able to invite others. You're going to be able to start to work with others. And what's going to happen for you and for everybody around you is your innovation and your creativity is going to be maximized. Right? This is super, super important. When you are involving yourself with the right people that you can find from anywhere, you don't have to be limited to your geography. You don't have to be limited to, your homogeneous groups, whatever they are. You can open yourself up and you can really start to develop that mindset that shift that says, I'm going to be open and I'm thinking globally, not just what's going on in my neighborhood, because that way you're going to get the benefit of experiences and talent from all over the place. The second thing that's going to happen when you develop an inviting and recruiting mindset, and I say that in that order, right? Inviting first and recruiting mindset. What's going to happen is you're going to develop more agility and more adaptability in everything you do. I told you, once you get the right people on board, all of a sudden, creativity and innovation goes through the roof, right? Well, how can that happen? It can't happen without agility and adaptability, and that's going to come along with the process. So as you begin to be better at communicating, better at delivering, better at understanding emotionally how people respond and react to you, the things you present, the ideas that you come up with, the better you're going to be. And it's going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to become more resilient. You're going to become stronger in everything you do. And you're going to be able to be more flexible. And you're going to be able to really, really reach across all kinds of boundaries to get done the things that you want to get done. The third thing that's going to happen for you is that you're going to be able to create and engineer positive participant experiences no matter what you do, whether you're leading a small team, a larger group, whatever it is. You're going to be able to create an environment where people feel safe, people feel comfortable, people feel engaged, and people start to really, really respond to where you're coming from and the things that you bring to the table. This is super, super, super important. And but I have to say, you have to get into this. You have to really embrace that mindset before you start to try to create a team. If you try to create a strong team before developing your inviting and recruiting mindset, what's going to happen is just like you crawling up that rung on those ladders I expressed to you earlier, you're going to fall on your face. But today, we have a special show. And we're going to get into the steps you're going to think about or some of the rules you might want to consider when it comes to high performance teams. Before we get into that, I got to introduce you to my girl, Trupti. I met Dr. Trupti, on a retreat that we did a few months ago called the Sowing Our Seeds retreat. And this was a retreat for women who wanted to get involved with government contracting. And I made so many good friends and so many wonderful people, and Dr. Trupti is one of those people. And she gave us so many wonderful talks during the presentations and during the many days we spent together about wellness and what she offers in terms of her business. I thought, man, I got to get her on my show one day. And guess what? She's here, ladies and gentlemen. She's backstage, and I'm going to let her come and introduce herself really quickly, and then we're going to get into today's discussion, which is creating high performance teams. Okay, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring you Dr. Trupti. If I can only figure out how to get back to there, she is. Hey, there's the boss.
Hello.
Dr. Trupti, why don't you tell us all about yourself?
Hi, Coach. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Dr. Trupti Gaikwad. I'm an Ayurveda practitioner. I'm also a certified fitness coach and a workplace wellness and health promotion specialist. So, as Coach said, I heard high performance. Oh, I like it. I love it. So, what are we aspiring for? What are we running around, right? High performance, having better energy, having better version of yourself, making more money, doing good business. So when we talk about good business, when we talk about high performance and having better version of yourself, like we always aspire for better things, we always aspire for good, and which is a very good thing. But when it goes to wellness, when you think about your health and wellness, do we aspire better version of ourselves every day? Yes, we do. But do we know how to achieve it, how to go for it, what do we need to do to be a better version of yourself every day? What do you need to do to feel good about yourself, your health, your wellness? And it's same goes with your business. When it comes to business, we have strategy, we try to learn the strategy. In the same way, we need to try to learn the strategy to improve our wellness, and that's what I teach my client. It's because these days we are in very fast paced world. Everybody is so busy, everybody has a lot of stress, a lot of things to do, a lot of tasks to do in a day. And in this super busy world, if we have to sit back and focus on our wellness, who has time for it? Right? And we see lot of chronic health issues. And just no, forget about health issues, there are certain signals, certain signs our body tells us. It's not just about having any diseases or having any health issues. Even without health issues, without any diagnosed condition, people have body signals like having less energy, or we feel tired all day even after having enough sleep, or we are not able to sleep properly, we are frustrated with body aches and headache and whatnot, in allergies and acidity, constipation. All these tiny signals body gives us, body tells us you need to pay attention towards your body. And that's what I teach my clients. I teach them how to feel better, how to be better version of yourself without having to take medicines, because we need to focus on your food, your exercise, your sleep pattern, and your hydration. These are four core things we need to focus on every day. It's habit. If you do it every day, you will be doing it without taking much efforts and without disturbing your modern routine. So that's what I teach my clients. If you want to connect with me, I also build routines for employees, for organizations. I do employee wellness programs. And even if you have the conference, you can just reach out to me. You can reach out to me at info@myfitness.com, and my website is www.myfitnessgps.com. That's my website, and you will have all other contact info there. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you so much, Dr. Trupti. You are super, super amazing. It's so good to have you on board. I'm going to put you backstage
Thank you.
now as we continue the program, but don't go
Oh,
anywhere.
sure.
Back and we'll get into the discussion, okay?
Yes.
All right. So that's Dr. Trupti. I told you guys, she is a supercharger and such a wonderful, special person. If you get a chance to engage with her, you get a chance to work with her, please do. Dr. Trupti, I'm going to ask you to put that same information into the chat if you can, so that everybody can see it. And I've already loaded the chat with your free tools for today. And so if you think about what you want to do, you got in the chat already an opportunity to get my latest training program on putting together high performance teams. And it's all out there. Now, let me tell you something. That is way too comprehensive for us to get into every detail today. Not going to do that, but I want to make sure you have it available. So download it, put it on your hard drive, do whatever you want to do with it. Say you got it from someplace else. It doesn't even matter to me. I just want you to be able to do this. If you're all set and you're ready to start putting a great team together, you're going to want to pay attention to what we're talking about right now. There is a couple of key concepts and ideas that I got to share with you if you're going to put together a high performance team. And I'm going to go through them with you right now, really quickly. Number one, you have to engage people in a way that you are pushing together, not pulling apart. Now, what do I mean by that? You have to have a we mindset. If you don't develop an understanding that everything that you're doing as a leader affects everyone around you, whether they're, and I'm talking about 360 degrees, right? It doesn't matter whether you report to them or they report to you, or you're working laterally one another, or their teammates. You need to be able to make sure that you can work successfully and make sure that you're really paying attention to people and you're getting their best ideas. You're sharing with them what's best in your thoughts and points of view, but you're also listening especially well to what their ideas is. You want people to feel like they belong to something that's bigger than themselves. And you can't do that if you don't pay attention, if you don't listen, right? That's super important. The next part about pushing together is making sure that you just refuse to go out there as an individual. What do I mean? If somebody says, well done, that's great, I owe it all to the team. Somebody says, you're a rock star, you're a superstar, you know what? My team members are great, and I'd love to be able to introduce you to them at some point in time in the future. Always, always, always defer. Always, always, always embrace the concept of the team. Never try to hog the limelight. Never try to be the only person. You're on a team, so don't try to be the only person that's standing out in front and really, really making everything happen, because I know that that's typical for our Western world thinking, but it's not beneficial to camaraderie or thinking in terms of togetherness as a team. And the more you start to do that, and the more you model that as a leader, the more your other team members will do as well. They will feel embarrassed by standing out on their own, trying to separate themselves from the rest of the team. And so you don't want to be that person. So rule number one is push together, not apart. Okay. Rule number two, this one I love. Once you've got that understanding, it's always going to be a we thing, right? Number two is understand that the pride cometh before the fall. What do I mean by that? It's just as what we say. People who lead with ego and lead with pride and lead with me, have a hard time working with others. You literally have to check your ego at the door. Whenever you are working on whatever your team's mission is, whatever your team's goals are, you got to be able to listen to the best of them, check for information from everybody. It's going to take extra communication on your part to do this, but you got to put your own pride and your own ego to the side for the benefit of the group, the team, the association, the consortium, the partnership, whatever it is that you're doing with other people. You've got to be able to be willing to, take a step back and really, really look at, what everybody brings to the table, not just you, right? You got to pay attention to that. You got to stay focused on that. And really what's really important there is that the mission has to be bigger than you. It has to be bigger than every member of the team in order for the team to come together and understand that together they can be overwhelmingly successful. Together they can create more possibility than they ever can by themselves. So always look for opportunities for togetherness, to strengthen each other, to sharpen each other, to make sure that you're not just leading with your own heart, your own mind, your ego, me. There's no place in that for teamwork, right? And I guess, what I really think about when it comes to that is you have to know that you're stronger together. You can do more together than you can ever do apart. And if you keep that in mind, it's so much easier to grow an organization, to grow your teams, to make sure that you have everything that you need to have in the universe, right? So make sure you're doing that correctly. Number three, you've got to leave room for joint creativity. What do I mean by that? We're so used to, as leaders, to be out there, and we think our responsibility, our only responsibility, is to guide and direct others. And that is not true when you're developing a team. When you're creating a team, you want as many people involved in every part of the process as you possibly can. So whether it comes to your vision, your mission, your goals, your activities on your regular consistent basis, you want your team's feedback, you want their involvement, you want their commitment, you want their connections, you want everything you possibly can get from them at every stage of that planning, at every stage of the readiness, every stage of the gearing up and getting ready to go. You want them all involved. And then once you start, want all hands on deck. You want everybody doing something, everybody contributing something, everybody's feeling like they belong to something, and they're actively doing something together as a team. Right? You don't want people out wandering off doing their own thing, just checking in and out whenever they feel like it, because that's going to make other team members feel like, hey, I'm giving 100%. This person is giving the 20%, but getting the same benefits as I'm getting for giving 100%. Then they're gonna start to feel like, maybe I shouldn't waste my time. Maybe I should do less. Maybe I should. So make sure that you are trying to do everything you can to engage everyone in every part of the creative process, even in the beginning. A lot of times leaders will go, well, I'm going into planning mode and I got to do that all by myself. And then I'm going to come out and dictate the terms to my team. Well, the more you involve them up front in the planning processes, the more they're going to feel good about execution when it's all said and done. And you want them to have some skin in the game, right? There's a technique I want you to learn, or go look up. You don't have to learn it from me, but go look it up. It's a technique called brain writing. Brain writing is a very specific and unique style of brainstorming that allows people to be even more creative and even more innovative in their idea generation, and you can create so many more ideas using brain writing than you can using brainstorming. And so go look it up, go Google it. You'll find out how to use it. But it's more important to get everybody's thoughts and ideas out on the table and generating. You don't want to be the kind of leader that you're doing all the thinking and you're just telling people what to do. That's old school, and it's not going to work in the new world that we're going into. I promise you that. So make sure that you are, being more collaborative in your thinking, being more innovative in your strategy, and opening up the creativity of your group, your team, to whatever the group and the team is going to want to bring to the table. You'd be surprised what kind of ideas they generate and what kind of ideas that they bring to the table. So one, push together, don't push apart. Two, the pride, remember, take your pride, check your ego at the door, pride coming before the fall. Number three, leave room for joint creativity. The fourth idea I want to share with you is, this one's a big one, right? And you can only do this when you're highly emotionally intelligent. Right? And if those of you who don't know what emotional intelligence is all about, I would suggest you go read anything by Danny Goleman. He's what we call the father of emotional intelligence, American style. There's been many other writers and many other researchers that have come behind Dr. Goleman, but Dr. Goleman was the first first to really give emotional intelligence a thorough scientific, breakthrough and understanding. And he comes from a serious Eastern philosophy tradition. I think he's a Buddhist, and he definitely studied under some of the great gurus and stuff like that over the years. So you can get a lot about understanding emotional intelligence from Dr. Goleman, Daniel Goleman, right? He's the father of emotional intelligence. And so you look up emotional intelligence, you're gonna bump into Danny Goleman. If you're not, it's somebody else doing it from somewhere else. I say keep going and look for Dr. Goleman. Okay, but here's number four. You don't want to be afraid of success. Let me say that again. You don't want to be afraid of success. Don't fear success. Now, why do you think I say that? Long time ago, I remember sitting in classes, that were dealt with one of my favorite sales trainers, and he would say that there's a concept that we all have in our mind about our level of success, and we literally will perform to whatever that level of that concept is, and then we'll stop right there. And so if our sales goal was to make $300,000 or $500,000 or whatever it is in volume in the first or over the year, and we get it done somehow miraculous in the first 3 months, then we're gonna have a problem, moving forward, because it's hard to reset a new goal when when you're getting all the rewards and all the accolades for having met the goal, and you've met the goal too early. And so the whole point of and this is from Brian Tracy, as a matter of fact, the whole point of setting extremely high goals, and making sure they got to be realistic now, but making sure that those extremely high concepts of what you think about your success is, and you approach that in a careful but not fearful manner, right? So you don't want to be afraid of success, because once you start letting fear get into your decision making and where you're going, that's going to leak into your team. And your team is going to be saying, okay, we could do this and we could do that and we could do this. And you're going to be like, no, no, no. Because what? Fear, doubt, blame, shame gets in the way of your higher thinking and your higher level of decision making. And anything you can do to let go of fear, doubt, blame, and shame. And I don't mean not have those emotions, because you're going to have them, right? There's no getting out of them, but learn how to regulate them. So those first 6 steps I talked to you about earlier are all about. If you learn how to do those steps really well, you're going to have a great sense of emotional regulation. And that's going to be something that's super important to your ability to deal with fear. You need to be able to look it in the face, acknowledge it, and then move on, so that you could grow. This is super important as a leader, because your team members are pacing you, and they're coming up with ideas and thoughts and concepts, mostly emotional ideas, thoughts, and concepts that come from you. So as a leader, if you're out there producing and putting these pitiful ideas like, oh my God, I'm afraid, oh my God, we shouldn't, oh my God, I wonder if we do this and will it be successful? You start to do that kind of stuff on a regular, consistent basis, and what you're doing is you're transferring your fear, your doubt, your blame, your shame to some other people. And that's people on your team. You can't have them functioning. They're all emotionally compromised. You're emotionally compromised, and nobody's going to be able to make any good decisions or stand on any decisions that they make. So it's super important that you don't fear success. You don't let fear get in the way of what you're doing. This kind of boldness is a requirement of putting together high performance teams. You cannot put together a high performance team and not be bold, and not be courageous, and not be able to burst through that fear, doubt, blame, shame strategy, right? It's so super important that you be able to do that. And again, that's all about emotional intelligence and being able to understand your feelings and work with your feelings, not against them, or try to deny your feelings, but work with your feelings in order for you to be there. That's what success and wellness is all about for me. I know Dr. Tukey is going to agree with that. We'll talk about it a little bit better in a couple of minutes. But there's no room for fear, doubt, blame, and shame when you're trying to put together a highly successful team, because your fears and your doubts will imprint onto your team, especially if they look to you for leadership, or even look for you to be a positive team member. That emotional Wi-Fi that we have with one another is going to, I call it the social Wi-Fi, right? It's going to pick up that people are going to feel like you're feeling miserable and upset and wronged, or whatever it is that you're feeling, and that's going to transfer to them, and that's going to imprint your team. I'm sure you have seen that happen for many of you all in leadership opportunities in other places. The next thing I want to mention, number 5, is you have to have no wasted talent. And this is, you have to have a dogged approach to this. If somebody has talents, if they have gifts, if they have abilities that they can contribute, find a way to help them contribute those gifts and those talents to your effort. Even if that gift or their talents might be a little tangential to where you're trying to go, allowing people to feel comfortable in a full expression of all the gifts that they think they have, or they do have, or they know they have, allows them to feel comfortable in the space and feel even more like they belong, and allows them to give more and make higher levels of contribution. When a person has the ability to do something and they never get called on to use that ability, right? They feel like they're wasting their time. It feels like, yeah, well, I'm not really being utilized here. Maybe I'm not valued. Maybe I shouldn't I shouldn't contribute as much as I think I should contribute to this organization. Maybe I should think a little different. It's super, super important. Identify your team members' gifts and their talents, not just the ones you put in their job descriptions, but the ones that they really, truly have outside of where you thought they were going to be. Because you never know when somebody may bring something to the table that is so super special, that is so super powerful, that allows your team to really flex a new muscle and become really stronger in a different area that might lead to tremendous success, right? So you don't want to tamp down people's gifts. You want to figure out what those gifts are, and you want to do what you can as a leader to help support an environment, or create an environment where that gift can be supported and allowed to flower and blossom, right? So super, super important. When a person feels valued and appreciated, they're going to have a higher sense of calling and commitment to whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is your team is doing. They're going to feel like they matter. They're going to feel like they are, or they're going to want to engage at a deeper, higher level. But when they don't feel valued and appreciated, it's literally impossible for someone to give their best, right? It's impossible for someone to share all their talents, all their skills, all their knowledge, all their abilities. Kind of become difficult, more difficult to complete, and more difficult to forward without that undergirding of encouragement that comes from a leader who's able to create an environment where that encouragement happens on a regular, consistent basis. When there's always positive and uplifting opportunities and moods that you share with your team, that's going to be what you need to maintain the activities of a high performing team. If not, you may perform highly for a quarter, or you may get a couple goals done, but I'm talking about sustainable levels of success. I don't want to just create a team that's just going to perform well once. No, I want to perform a team that's going to perform well all the time. They're going to love each other and love being around each other so much and creating with each other so much that they can't imagine doing it without each other. That's what it takes to have a high performance team. And that reminds me of a study I recently read. Do you know that success is a precursor to happiness and not the other way around, right? You can't go, I'm going to be successful and then I'm going to become happy. That doesn't work. What happens is happy people become successful and maintain success. Successful people don't become happy. That's not how it works. And if anybody knows the research material on that, do me a favor, put it in the chat. I know Sean, somebody who wrote the Happiness Factor, has done a tremendous amount of research on this. But you want to make sure you pay attention to this, because this is proven fact now. I know a lot of us say, well, if I could just get here, then I'll allow myself to relax, and I'll allow myself to be happy, I'll allow myself to be successful. If I could just reach this goal, then I can be. You gotta be happy before you reach the goal. You gotta be happy while you're going and while you're embarking on the journey of whatever it is you're trying to do. Don't wait for happiness to come after success. You need to find out how to be happy now, so that you can have success, and even more success, and sustainable success later on. All right, the last thing I want to talk to you about, then we're going to get into a discussion, hopefully ask some open-ended questions and allow you all to chime in for those of you who are watching in the chat. The last of the 6 ideas and concepts I want you to think about when it comes to developing and creating high-performance teams is you have to think about a death to redundancy. There's so many times when you're on a team and basically everyone has the same skill set, right? Everyone can do the same things because, like attracts like. We always look for these homogenous teams that think like us and involve themselves like us and so on. I want you to think totally differently. I want you to look for people who have a different skill set than you may need that can shore up the team. Look at all the skill sets and all the abilities the team has, and look at all the things that we're going to need to do to start to move forward in terms of the vision that you've collectively come upon, right? That you're trying to go for, and then ask yourself the question: what skills do we need? What skills don't we have? What skills are we finding out along the way that we need to adopt, and how do we develop those, right? So it's super important that you don't have a lot of people doing the same stuff. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a backup, right? You shouldn't have somebody who's masterful at something, but also somebody who's great at something, not necessarily as masterful as the person who's is like the guru of it. But you definitely want to have somebody be able to back that person up, so that person can take a breather every once in a while. That person can relax, and that person can go do something, or God forbid something happened to that person, the whole team doesn't fall apart because you only have one person who's good at the one thing, right? So you do want to have, some backups, but I'm not talking about the kind of backups that lead to redundancy, where you people have people wasting their efforts and their talents, right? Just because somebody is not good at something, but they want to be good at something, doesn't mean you put them in charge of the thing. You put the person that's the best at it in charge of the thing, and you use the underling to sort of mentor them. And I don't use the word underling as a way of saying that there's some kind of caste in any organization that somebody's diminishing, so on and so forth. That's not the world we're going to. That's not the world that we should be in anyway. The hierarchy, we need to adjust that so that it's more flat, and everybody's on the same even keel and growing together instead of outpacing one another and trying to figure out how we can use competition as our only advantage. Because yes, internal competition is helpful to a certain degree. It's also destructive emotionally to people who can't keep up with maybe a stronger person, and they're all their success is pitted against somebody else who's super successful because they don't have maybe the same kind of baggage, or they don't have maybe the same kind of cultural framework, or whatever that is. So you want to be very careful about that. When you are understanding how to practice true division of labor, then you won't have redundancy, and you will increase collaboration and everybody's understanding of how they fit into the ecosystem and the environment that you are creating. Let me say that again. When you have true division of labor, and you practice division of labor, and everybody's doing the thing that they're best at doing and helping, working together to support each other in the areas of where they're not so good, right? Then you have a true collaborative ecosystem. It takes tremendous leadership and tremendous communication to make this work. So if you're not committed to people, and if you're not going to have that mindset that I shared with you earlier, don't even try to do this. Stay an individual contributor to whatever you're doing. Don't bring people on the team. Don't try to have friends and associates join you in your efforts, because you're not skilled enough to be able to hold that together. And you're not skilled enough to be able to bring that together and keep it together over long periods of time, so that it can germinate and become a thing of its own. One of the things I love about President George Washington, our first president of the United States of America, when opportunities were presented to him to elevate his level of leadership beyond being a president, but to being like a king, or to be like a ruler of the country, and people offered that to him, he said no. In fact, he stepped down from being the president of the United States of America because he had done his job. He brought the group together, the team together. And now it was up to them to continue to march forward instead of having to lean on him as a leader, because they were trying to get away from that diabolical, one figurehead kind of leadership in the country, to a government of the people, by the people, a representative government, a democratic republic, right? So we're trying to do that, and that requires that we share power, and we share information, and we share ideologies, and we share thought processes, and we allow each other to grow, but still remain free and independent, right? That's all I'm suggesting that you guys think about. How do you create high performing teams where individuals are not they don't have to, how can I put, they're not subject to anybody else, but they're all whole and individual people in and of themselves, and able to successfully, do the things that they need to do, and together do even more. That's what that's all about, guys. All right, I'm going to invite Dr. Trupti to come in and beat it up with me a little bit. Dr. Trupti, let's see, there she is. She came back in. You figured out how to do that by yourself. That's wonderful. Great. Thank you so much. Do me a favor and tell me anything that that you reflected on, that you heard, that you really thought that resonated with you from the information that I shared?
Oh, for sure. First thing hit me was the mindset. Anything we want to do, the first thing we need is the right mindset. And another thing stayed in my mind, what you said is do not fear success. Because, that is something very contradictory to what usually we think. How can anybody be fearful about success? It's not, that's not usual what we hear about. But when you explained, I understood, yes, that can be, something which is pulling us, or which is not helping us to move forward or grow forward. So those two things definitely. And anything, it's not just high performance team, or it's not just about building business. Anything we want to achieve, I feel like anything we want to do, from smallest thing to bigger thing, mindset is very important.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
sometimes
Yes.
we don't do that work. We don't do
Yes.
that work internally to
Yes.
strengthen ourselves so that we can do the work externally to help strengthen others. And so we try to get
Yes.
involved with things a little too quickly before we've done that internal work, and then
Yes.
we find that we've become a part of the problem.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
When
As you said at the end, if you are not able to do this, that means you are not ready. You
right,
are not skilled. You are not educated yourself for this to do this, right? The mindset is not right at first place. Yeah, that's for
and then
sure.
what happens is we feel guilty.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Or then we start to get afraid, and then we start to do, we start to blame others, and we start to do
It's a cycle. Yes.
all
Yes.
these
Yes.
things are just ways we hide from accepting the responsibility
Mm-hmm.
for maybe taking on more than we should have, or not doing the work that the internal work we needed to do ahead of time. And quite frankly, sometimes we don't know it. We bump
Yes.
into situations, we think we're doing a great job, we try our best, but still, oh wow, this is not working
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to work. I'm not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think it's a brave person who could say, listen, I'm gonna need to take a step back. I'm not ready for this
True.
right now. I want to be, but I'm really not. And so I think I'm gonna have to take a step back and come back at this at another time when I have resolved some, strength. I've strengthened some things I need to do. I've learned some things I need to learn. I've gone and approached this in a different way. And then you'll find that people who have a great team,
Mm-hmm.
those people will be so much more understanding
True.
than if you try to force a situation where you're not ready to play at a high level and
Mm-hmm.
everybody around you is. Now
True.
all of a sudden you're the weak link,
Yeah. Yep.
and you
Yep.
don't want to admit it. You don't want to fess up to it. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
it so many times, and I think that's why I wrote that, that ego part, because people let their ego stop them from accepting the truth of the situation and
Mm-hmm.
dealing with it in a
True.
graceful way,
For
in
sure. For sure.
emotionally intelligent way. Okay. Any ideas that you want to share about creating teams that you think that you've seen or experienced in the past?
Oh, for sure. As you have already mentioned it, right? Leave a room for creativity, trusting, valuing. Because as a person, if we do not feel valued, if we do not feel appreciated, we don't put our best.
Right.
That's for sure. And team or any organization or any business is people. It's
Yes.
not your desk, your computer, right? Your website. Okay, it's there, but it's run by people.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's not just clients. Clients is other side of our business or other side
Right.
of the organization. Definitely, we need to keep our clients happy. But at the same time, your team members, no, I'm not saying just employees, our team members, right? They are like our family and it's a team. So if one client is unhappy, that is sometimes okay. It happens. We cannot keep everybody happy. It happens. But if our team member, our family member, our team, one member is, if we are not, if they feel they are not valued, if they feel they are not appreciated, we are losing 10 clients in future.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So any organization, any institute, I feel like it's about people. It's not about what other stuff we have. It's that is just those are tools to make
You,
us work or to make us progress.
oh my God, you just made me think of something that I have to put in this
Uh,
now. And it's really understanding having an altruistic attitude.
Mm-hmm.
How do you show up to the team with something to contribute, something to give versus something to take?
True.
And obviously you have to take something, because if you don't take something, then that's sort of unfair. But you should figure out also what you want to contribute and what you have
Mm-hmm.
to contribute, and then make that contribution. And people will be like, oh wow, I didn't know you could do that, or I didn't know you understood that, I didn't know you
True.
had that idea. And when you do that, you're increasing the trust.
True.
Because if you come with, this, I'm going to hold on to all my cards, I'm not going to share what I have, I'm not going to talk to people, I'm not going to, if
It
you come,
doesn't work. It doesn't work.
because again, fear, doubt, blame, and shame is what creates that, right? So you
Yep.
come
Yep.
and then you're trying to work with other people, they're going to sense it, that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you're going to sense that something's off with you, and then they're going to shut down.
That's what you mentioned. Your mission should be bigger than you.
Right.
When you think big, vision, mission, when it is bigger than just me, ego, I am the one who will do it. It will not work with team, and when team progresses, definitely the business is gonna progress.
Oh my God,
Like
this
the
is
organization is gonna progress.
conversation, Dr. Trupti. Thank you so very much. Do you have any last words for the group before we pull out of here?
Mm-hmm. So as you said, high performance, energy, the right mindset, all this needs a healthy body and mind. And the mindset to be healthy, and to always growing, of course the business side, but you even your personal wellness, your physical and mental wellness. So for that I'm here. So please reach out to me, and I will be very happy to connect with you in your future sessions, and I am joining this every Friday. Thank you. Please bring us more like this,
Thank
please.
you so very much. I would tell you the topic for next week, but I don't have it right now because I'm busy.
I will be there, don't worry, whatever topic.
But, but next week I will share that in a chat or something like that. In the next couple of days. Lori's on the line today. Good, so good to see you, Lori. Thank you so very much for joining us. We talked about the SOS conference a little earlier. If you have something to share that you want people to put that in the chat, Lori, so everybody can see what's going on or what you're doing. Thank you so very much, Dr. Trupti. I'm going to put you backstage. But don't go anywhere.
Mhm,
Right? I'm going to put you
mhm.
backstage for a second, and then I'm going to um, keep the party going. Okay, guys, this is Coffee Tea, You and Me. Every single Friday from 3 until about 4 o'clock, we get together with the most brilliant minds. Sometimes I'm on here by myself, but I try not to be. I try to bring you the best, people to share ideas with you about various different things. Today, we're on the 7th step of the 9 steps of developing highly masterful professional relationships. It is super important that you get these skills. It's super important that you learn how to do these things, because when you learn how to build, masterful professional relationships, whether you're looking for mentors or you're looking for an advisory council or you're looking for advisors or consultants, friends, therapists, coaches, whatever it is you're looking for with people, you have to understand these steps. All of them are critically important. And if you need a copy, your own personal copy of the 9 steps to how they masterful relationships, do me a favor. Raise your hand, throw me an instant message on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever that is. I will send it to you for free. But I want you to definitely take care of it, definitely read it, definitely embrace it, because it's so important. I'll make my girl Lori said something I want to share with you. I had to put that up because I love the feedback. I love the positive feedback. Thank you so very much, Laura. You have no idea. I love you so much. You're such a wonderful person, and thank you so much for what you've done with the SOS conference. And I can't wait to see what we do next. I mean, because that was just a ball, and it was so much wonderful fun, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. Okay. Guys, that's been Coffee Tea, You and Me. Hope you had a good time. If you haven't, listen, do me a favor. Give me a call. Text me. My information is running across the screen. You don't have any reason not to reach out. Just let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any thoughts. If you have an idea about a future show, let me know. Something that you might be interested in finding out more about. Something that you might be interested in talking about or sharing. I love to invite, I love to bring people in, I love to engage with as many people as I possibly can. And this is just a tool that I found that is useful to do it. Welcome again, Coffee Tea, You and Me. I'm signing out. Great job, guys. Thank you so very much.